Hi there. How are you? Good to see you. Good morning.
Thank you for your service.
Hi. How are you? Good morning.
Preston. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
You're fine.
Wave your flags. There you go.
Yes, how are you?
What do you think of this? Just your
I
arrival?
cannot believe the welcome. It's unbelievable.
How does that make you feel?
I feel great. Wow. Just a great time to be here. So far, everything's worked out perfect.
Tell me your name.
Al Benninger,
And how old are you, sir?
92.
And where did you serve? What branch of the military?
I was in the U.S. Navy Hospital Corps.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I probably won't make it more than 2 years ago.
Keep your fingers crossed. Maybe you will. You never know. Never know. Enjoy your time.
You're going to do the best you can.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much
sir.
for your service. I hope you get to try to
Following you. I am following you. So good to see you.
Thank you so much for your service, sir. Have a great visit to DC.
What are you thinking of this arrival?
Something.
You're so moved, aren't you?
Yeah, it's something.
Welcome to Washington. Thank you for your service. We so appreciate you.
You did 3 wars, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
You saved the world.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Welcome to Washington.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service, sir. Thank you.
Oh, thank
telling
you
you,
for your
she's after
service.
your
You're
money.
a true hero. Thank you so much. So happy to see you here.
Okay, now you know you gave her a hug. Now you know what that means.
Army. They're here for the excitement.
I'd hound you.
That's all right. I already told Gretchen that you all were on the buses, so that's good.
Okay, you knew what was happening. Okay. First of all, Honor Flight, like you said, this was your platform for Miss America. I've already been crying. I mean, it's amazing what just transpired in there.
The reaction of the people, of the veterans to the people that are here to receive them is magnificent. And I have to tell you, the ground crews at all of these airports do such a superb job in organizing all of this. Many of these veterans will leave thinking this was the best day of their life. And a lot of it has to do with not only the memorials, but the reception that they've received here and at home.
I mean, the gentleman over there was just crying. And I said, what do you think? He said, I mean, he was just awestruck.
Most of them are completely awestruck when they go to the memorials, and people are there with signs saying thank you for your service, especially the little kids. That's the ones that are the tear jerkers for me. But then you see other veterans and just people from all walks of life, and they get hugs and kisses. And for a lot of these veterans, they actually didn't get the parades when they came home like some of the bigger cities did. So this is their moment.
All right.
Sergeant of the Guard comes out to do the changing. If you'll notice when they march, if they scrape, you'll notice they'll scrape a heel. That is a salute to the veteran, okay? Because the way they do this, it is in such perfection, they can't wave to you, they can't do anything besides their job. And the way they do a salute to the veteran is a scraping of the feet. So you will notice this when they come out. I can't tell you how awesome this is. I'm just going to give you a little administrative bit about it.
When I was out here last weekend, if you ever get the chance to see the documentary of the training for these old guards that do this 24/7, it is so intense. I had the opportunity to meet one at Walter Reed Hospital last weekend, and I think he served 2 years, and it's just intense what they go through. So, you know, at your when you get home, if you could look up the document.
Kelly, point out the Pentagon.
To the right is the Pentagon. And I think, isn't it like the shaded color, the different color is the part that got hit? 9/11.
Hello.
That's nice to meet you.
No, I texted him, but you know, he's lazy.
Crazy
Why
cab
don't I just
driver.
go
No,
over
no,
there?
no,
I'm in the middle of an announcement. I get phone calls from you to him. Yeah. Sit down and shut up. You said we cut that bus off? Alright, I'll see you. Love you, bye.
Who needs him, Kelly?
right.
Veterans that can walk, get off the bus first so we know how many wheelchairs we need.
Okay, for the veterans that can walk, you're going to come up. There's a lot of dignitaries to your left.
too, like you've done before? Can you do the wheelchairs in here too, since we've got some money, like you've done before?
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? I am Sergeant First Class Gibson of the 3rd Infantry Regiment, United States Army, Guard of Honor, home of the unknown soldier. The ceremony that you are about to witness is the changing of the guard. In keeping with the dignity of this ceremony, it is requested that everyone remain silent and standing. Thank you.
realize they let them start using other tombstones, you know, other markers.
I'm disappointed by that.
Yeah, look as good.
I know, isn't that amazing? Oh my gosh. Oh my God, Mom, I'm just smiling.
Trust her.
I think that's the key.
They're dealing with all that crud up there.
Yeah.
So it's a parking nightmare.
Just put this right here on you.
The hard part is, my rule of thumb is if it's not covered by Medicare, it's probably not incredibly effective. I have lost it.
Is that the first time you had seen the changing of the guard?
Yeah, well, no, I was here a long, long time.
A long time ago.
And it wasn't near as impressive as it was today.
How was it today knowing that you're here on the 74th anniversary of D-Day in D.C. with all your comrades?
That's not bad for 3 of them.
Well,
I know
it's awesome.
like $250 a pop. Yeah. I'd love to do them out of my
It's,
They gotta make their money.
well, it's hard to explain because some of these people you see, some you haven't, you know. Now, I ran into a couple of people that I didn't even know was in this thing until just a while ago.
But you know what?
Why did you decide to make this trip? What was it about this trip that you said, this is the one I've got to go on?
My son.
Your son said what?
He set it up. Well, we set it up once, and then I had to cancel it. But then my boss at the office got a hold of some people and got a hold of him, so then they set it up again. So this time we made it.
And what has been the highlight of this for you?
Oh, everything. It's just no particular thing, just everything. The Nola Grave was one of the highlights. Of course, seeing the Concorde and all, but back during the war in the Philippines, I was a weapons sergeant, and every now and then I had to go to another island. So we flew over in Piper Cove, which one of them was hanging back there. And when we flew over to Jap line, we dropped hand grenades out.
Oh gosh, so the stories.
Yeah.
So what are you going to remember most about this trip?
Oh, I'm going to remember it all. Every bit of it, it was nice. Not only that, meeting the people, a lot of people. A lot of people went to a lot of trouble to do this.
Have you been surprised how many people have come up and said thank you for your service?
Oh, yeah, especially young people. There ain't very many young people today that will do things like that. Of course, you hear about the bad ones. You don't hear about all the good ones. You know,
but we've got a next generation we have to worry about, right?
Right.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Now tell me your age and which branch of service again.
I was in the Army, combat engineers, and my age is, well, right now I'm 94. Wow. 2 months I'll be 95.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Really
Thank you.
Thank you.
You take care.
We are going to go to...
We usually do it with music. Side by side. Okay.
Does anybody have a request?
Yeah. We'll give you.
Oh, we ain't got a barrel of money. Maybe we're ragged and funny, but we'll travel along, singing a song, side by side. Don't know what's coming tomorrow. Maybe it's trouble and sorrow, but we'll travel the road, sharing our load, side by side. Through all kinds of weather, what if the sky should fall? Just as long as we're together, it doesn't matter at all. When they've all had their quarrels and parted.
Tells every word.
Yes. Roll out the barrel.
Oh, all right.
Roll out the barrel.
There you go. Of course, we can't sing without beer.
Yeah, get your mugs ready.
Like we do.
Roll out the barrel.
Every time they use them apart, everybody feels so tra-la-la. They want to throw their cares away.
Just gonna kind of put this behind you and then snap that. Is that all right?
See,
We've been trying to
that's what he did back at the other place when he put that on. That's one that told him it cost him $1.
There you go. You want me to stand on this side? Yeah. Okay.
Now if everyone that take it back out there. Yeah.
Okay. So I was just going to ask you, so 74 years ago, oh, here come the buses.
It was what, hon?
74 years ago, what do you remember about this day, Normandy?
Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
I went in on D-Day at Omaha Beach at the 6th Wave and everything, and there was a lot of shooting and stuff. I remember that more than I do anything else.
Because I said, you know, we've seen the movies, we've seen this and that, and you said, you haven't seen anything.
No, that's right. Yeah, I'm glad it's over with. I'm glad I'm still alive, and God bless America. That's the only thing I can say.
You're only 16, right?
The reason that I was 16 is I was drafted. My mother and dad, we had two brothers above me that was already in the service, and I was just like a fish out of water because I was 15 to 16 years old. And I told them, I said, if you'll sign the paper that I'm 17 years old, that's when we was drafted at 17. And I said, I'll try to get me a job and help Dad with the money to keep the house and everything. I still had 3 sisters at home. And my dad worked as a mechanic making $33 a week and kept up 9 people. So that was a pretty side job. And so they fell for it. And I took the papers to the draft board, and about the man that we went into knew my older brother, and he said, well, Charlie said, I tell you what, said, I'll try to get you to where you get in about 3 or 4 months from now. Well, felt pretty good about that. Went back, told Mom and them I had about 3 or 4 months, maybe 6 months. And 3 months later, they come to school and picked us all up. It was 3 of us.
And you were gone.
And we were gone at 16 years old.
You know, when I talked to you on the phone, one answer that really struck me when I said, you know, people say you're a hero, and you really shook that off.
No, I don't feel like I'm a hero. I would have done it for, I had the love of my family and the love of my country. Even at 16, I really did care for it because I had 2 brothers that was serving in front of me. And that takes up a whole lot of room of what you're good for and what you don't want to do. And I was proud to go, even at 16. And I didn't understand too much of it because I was too young. And it just makes a big difference. The biggest embarrassment I've ever had when I was 16 years old was my physical examination for the Army. We went to Evansville, Indiana, and walked into a big tobacco barn to where there was 8 or 10 doctors around the places and everything else. Well, when you first go in, you take off all your clothes.
Right.
And you march all around to the 18 or 19 doctors or nurses and stuff. And 16 years old, hon, you're real embarrassed.
I bet, I bet.
And
final question for you. You told me on the telephone the other day, you said, I mean, we're sitting in Arlington where so many are buried, and you said, I'm one of the lucky ones. tell me about that.
Okay,
Jeff,
hon.
anymore. Thank you
Okay,
all.
I appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate you because
Okay.
it's been tough to
All
catch
right.
up to people. Thank you.
Thank you for your service. It's a great way to celebrate.
That's very interesting. All righty.
Thank you for your service, sir.
All right. All right. Whoops, sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Promise not to be in your face.
Now, do you want to sit or do you want to stand? Is that on there?
Reception that we've had everywhere we've been.
Well, that's
Just-
what you want to stand. Are you good with standing?
It's up to you.
Let's go ahead and sit. Your overall impression of the trip and everybody who's met you and shaking your hand and
Well, it's just been wonderful. I never could have believed it, really. This much hospitality, the people that served in World War II. And World War II was a long time, the greatest war we've ever had. But the respect that people's had for us, it's really surprising to me.
one thing that makes you stand out, 3 wars. I mean, 3 Purple Hearts. I mean, you're a niche all your own, practically.
Well, I have been around a long time. I did go in 16 years old in 1943. So, almost directly from North Africa. And America, France, Italy, Germany, England, and then back to Luxembourg, and then back to Belgium. You want me to keep talking?
Well, 3 Purple Hearts, though.
Go ahead.
So injured 3 times?
Yes, I was in Naples, Italy first. The explosion was in a vehicle with another guy. Actually, I was catching a ride and his artillery shell came in. Killed 3 guys up front and he was wounded very bad. I drug him out. His leg was twisted backwards, really. But he was conscious. And they got him out away from the vehicle because they knew it was going to explode. He reached up the side of my head, pulled his hand down, and I was covered in blood. Didn't even know I was hurt, but I had a big hole in my head. Actually, I put my hand on my head and my 3 fingers resting on my brain. My hot shoulder.
When we hear, you've heard everywhere you've gone, the greatest generation. Do you still think that holds true?
Yes. I do. I grew up real hard. Depression. People had a hard time. All the good people, but anyway.
And do you think that the nation has lived up to its end of the bargain with the greatest generation?
No. No, I do not.
In what way?
Anyway, people are not keeping it in the minds of the younger people as much as the pain and suffering that families and men went through. And families is not doing that. They're not doing anything in school about it. And the discipline that our country has now is terrible. The way they act with police, the way they act with teachers, and they don't want to be told anything.
We could learn a lot from your generation.
Yes.
And we'll leave it at that. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
And I'm going to let you get. Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Well, first of all, tell me why you joined the group you did, the Navy.
Well, I was very keen on the Air Force.
Oh, hang on. I'm going to wait till that plane because I can tell I'm not going to be able to hear you.
Plane's pretty loud.
I know, it's very loud. That's why I was like, well, I know you can't hear.
Okay.
Now, why did you decide to join the Navy?
Well, I really wanted to go into the Women's Air Force, but they had horrible grey stockings, so I didn't like that. And the ladies in the Army, they had horrible khaki ones, and so I wanted to go where the black silk stockings were. And that's
It was a fashion statement.
But I was very patriotic as well.
And tell me, so you are British, correct?
Yes.
And then came to the United States when?
In 1950, I was married to an American in 1948 who was stationed in London. And he was 30 years in the Navy, and we had a very good life with the Navy. Had a good life during the war as well. You know, it's a hard thing to say, but there was a lot of good moments during the war. You know, people were really happy. They sang and they drank and had a good time. Then there was the sad side, but it evened itself out.
And tell me about representing the women here today. You're one of 3 women who were on this flight. And women served in so many ways at that time.
Yeah, it's a shame that they waited until we were so old to do something about it, you know.
Right.
Because now how old am I? 93. And, you know, time is passing too quickly. We've got to do something.
But you were proud of the women who served?
Oh, absolutely, yes. And they served in the factories as well. They served everywhere. And we did have a draft, and you could be drafted into the forces, or you could have a job on the railway or on a bus or something like that. So we did have a draft for women as well.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Well,
and you want to do that? Like that. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. How are ya?
World War II.
Well, and the one gentleman, I don't know where he was. Oh, he's in that one. He's 100.
Yeah, he was a major general.
No, this has been fascinating. Well, they're all World War II. So.
All of them, huh?